And 500 meters away, I saw this lady sitting down by the beach. Why? So I arrived to her and I said to her, "Hi, I know you're searching for the truth. You find it. What can I do for you?" So she said, with tears in her eyes, "How do you know I was praying for truth?" And I said, "That doesn't matter. Who cares why I know? The only thing that matters is that you were praying for the truth." And so after certain questions and certain answers, and her being a little bit overwhelmed, because this is a beach out of nowhere. It's just her and I, and the sunset, and the gannets. I told her, "Look, it's okay if you want to search for the truth. Certainly God is truth, but he or she, it's not only truth. That's not the only thing he is. He's the all-merciful. He's the all-compassionate. He's the all-kind, humorous, playful, strong, mighty. There are many attributes that accompany God, and all of them conform the crown of his glory. Every one of his attributes is his name. I am the love. I am the unity. I am the truth. I am the certainty. I am the humor. I am the divine. I am the grace. I am the beginning and the end." And so all those names are like pearls in a crown. That's his kingship. It manifests in attributes. And so Anisha looked at me and said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It doesn't matter what I mean. What matters is what you want to know about him and how you want to relate to God. Your genuine relationship to God. That's what matters. Nothing to do with me or you in terms of what we need to be, because he knows who we need to be." And so she decided she wanted to travel a little bit with me. And so I introduced her to many members of the family of New Zealand, because usually when I know a person who is traveling in the spirit and they know me, I understand they get pretty focused on me. And I need to leave you, because if I don't leave you, the Spirit, the Helper, will not come to you. Get out of the way. Let the Father do the work. So I did. So Anisha, having this experience in New Zealand, a year before, rings me because she is concerned with the beautiful gurus that she's met in India, in Amsterdam. She hasn't met them in India, she's met them in Amsterdam through books and tapes and devotees. And myself, I've never kissed the feet of a guru, and I don't think I will. But I understand that some people need teachers, or rabbis, or priests, or grandmothers, somebody, a reference point. And that's fine by me. I don't need to interfere with other people's journey. But when people ask me the truth, I speak it plain. So I said to Anisha, "Well, Anisha, I will accompany you for sure, because I've been told yesterday night that I would go to India, yeah? And I'll be your brother there. And I'll see you crying a lot. And I'll see you seeing the deceptions that God wants you to see, so that you can find your real being, your real connection to the Father of heaven." And she said, "Well, if this is my journey, I want to see face to face those deceptions." And I said, "Let's go." We arrived to Mumbai at 1 o'clock in the morning, more or less. I had a bag that I didn't want to carry to India. I was coming from Bali. And I don't know where at the airport, it was all the booths are closed at that time, but there was a guy selling some form of rickshaw driver, that kind of thing, service. And I said to him, "Look, I need to travel in India for 6 months, and I don't want to carry this bag, and I know my ticket will be out of Chennai, Madras. Would you like to carry my bag? And do you know what can I do with this bag, with somebody that, I said, "Well, actually, I've got a relative who lives in Madras. If you give me your bag, I will send it there. He happens to be a pastor of the church. And since you are on a spiritual journey, because nobody leaves his bags if they're not completely trusting with other people, I will look after your bag. And I said, done. By word of mouth, never seen this guy. So I picked up my bag 6 months later as he told, you know, trustworthy man. But in the meanwhile, Anisha, for the first time, comes to India, and we go out in Mumbai at 1:30 in the morning. I cannot tell you the cultural shock for her, probably, coming from Holland. We had maybe 40 or 30 rickshaw drivers approaching us. She was a little bit, you know, losing her personal space, you know, being born in Holland with her kind of European kind of life. And I said, it's okay, Anisha, sit down. We sat down by the floor, on the floor. And I looked at her and I said to her, welcome to my ashram. The whole planet is my ashram. And so she looked at me and she calmed down, and I asked all the rickshaw drivers to sit down. And so they all sat down. There were like 40 of them. And I don't speak Hindu, apart from the word lila. I knew the word lila a long time ago, because, well, for many reasons, but okay. So I asked if there is anybody who speaks English here. And the man said, yeah, I do speak English, in broken English. Yes, sir, I do speak English, you know, that kind of thing. So I told him, could you please translate for me? And he said, yeah. So he did. So I said, I told him, look, we are ambassadors of God's spirit and love, ambassadors of peace, and we come to India to meet our family. Now, you're the first people who are welcoming us in India, and I'm grateful for that. And I would like to get to know you one by one. So tell them that I'm going to stand up and look into their eyes and give them my hand. And so I did, one by one. It took me like 20 minutes, you know, to connect with each of them. You know, there were 30 or 40 people. You know, can you imagine this? And then what's your name? And then you'll say your name, and I say, thank you, nice to meet you. And I go like that, 40 people. And then a man of the crowd said, you should go to Pune tonight. Pune is a little town in India, about 3 hours or 4 hours by bus. And Anisha said, oh, I know, we should go to Pune. I'll tell you later why. And I said, okay, we're meant to go to Pune. I came here to be your companion. I don't have anything else to do in India. So then suddenly we hear a big voice, you know, like, you know, a voice with a lot of power. In Hindu, I couldn't understand. The guy said to me, this is a policeman, he's coming with a stick. And then he says something to the policeman in Hindu, and then in Tamil probably, and the guy says to me, what's this all about? You know, in broken English again. And I said to him, well, you're late. And this policeman says to me, what do you mean I'm late? I said, well, you have 2 ambassadors of God for peace coming to India, and all these people are welcoming us, and you're an officer of this government, you're late. You should be here first. So the guy says to me, so you came to India sent by God to bring more peace to our people? And I said, yes, I did actually. And whose church is sending you? No church. I don't belong to any religious belief. I walk like the prophets of old, because I'm firstborn son of a Jewish mother, though I'm not a Jewish religionist. I don't attend to synagogues. The family name of my grandmother is Matatyahu Cohen Levi. You trace the genealogies of Jesus. Those family names are all there, both on mother's side and father's side. And by the way, he couldn't be a Messiah, not to Israel, if he wasn't born of the seed of David, male seed of David. And so, he gave me a hug. Welcome to India, sir. I'm so glad you're here. This was a big man. I felt in the laps of my grand uncle. You know, like that. I closed my eyes and I felt, man, my grandmother is hugging me for sure here. And so he turns to a guy that he's never seen before, to me, to my eyes. They don't know each other. He wasn't here. And he says, you shall take these people, don't charge them anything, to the bus station, put them on a bus to Pune. Same words. Now, doesn't surprise me because I live like that since I'm a child. I'm not surprised about synchronicities. That word is very new to me. It's a scientific word. Yeah? It comes from Jung studies, Carl Jung. But not in Hebrew or Israelite, not just Jewish, but Israelite mysticism, synchronicity doesn't exist. You say, Ma shlomcha, how are you? Akol beseder. Everything in order. Everything in order. If everything's in order, then you're in sync. That's simple. So, we get to the bus station for Pune. And at the bus station, I said to Anisha, give me the cash, I'll get the ticket, stay here. You know, I'm just looking after my sister. She's a woman, first time in India. She's a brave woman, but still, it's a new culture. You know, sometimes you can get a little bit out of center if you're in overwhelming India after coming from Amsterdam or any other nation of the West. So I comforted her, and I went to get the tickets, and suddenly somebody grabbed my hand and starts to massage my hands very gently and lovingly, like a caring massage. And Anisha looks at me and says, somebody's holding your hand. And I said, I know, it's my hand. So Anisha looks at me and I said, are you okay? She says, yeah, give me a sec. So I turned to this person and I said, what can I do for you? And the man says to me, really, you can do nothing for me. I'm the one who has to do something for you. You're in India. And I said, okay, what can you do for me? And he says, where are you going? I said, well, apparently we're going to Pune. So this guy says, okay, I'm going to Pune, I'll buy the tickets. I said, do you need some cash? And he says, I've already told you I buy the tickets. Why do you offer me cash? And I said, well, if you buy the ticket, doesn't mean you're going to pay for them, He said, no, I'll buy it. So he bought the ticket. This man was called Vishal Saxena, a young man, computer scientist, who said that his parents were very spiritual, but he ought to help his people with technology. So he decided to become a mathematician and a computer scientist because he didn't like the spirituality of India in the sense that they've neglected the material side of life. They've gone to the other extreme. We've come here, materialism, rampant on technology, but they've neglected the body and things like that. And that's what he explained to me. So Anisha and I had a really nice conversation with him. He took us in his house in Pune. And he said to me, where are you going in Pune? Before he took us to his home, I said, I don't know. He said, well, I know where. So he looked after us. That was our journey day by day. We walked in faith. Until after some months and many deceptions being unraveled in the journey of Anisha, we arrived to the ashram of Sai Baba, but I wouldn't do justice to this story if I don't tell you that at the Osho ashram, we were told that we should pay a substantial amount of money to be there, because Anisha wanted to go there, and on top of that she had to have an HIV exam, which is an exam to see if she has the virus, which degenerates in AIDS, in the disease called AIDS. And Anisha asked me, why is that? And I said, well, this is a place where people practice a kind of yoga, not like in the ancient times, but here they explore their sexuality, and perhaps they don't want to be liable for you contracting a disease like that or a virus like that. She couldn't believe that this guru that she's read, she have to pay all this money to get, and on top of that, an exam. So she cried and said, it's okay. As soon as we get out of here, we'll find our family. And so it was. The guy approached us on the streets and invited us to a place where a lot of people were gathering, sharing like us today, outside of the ashram. Okay, so these experiences happened on, and I saw Anisha crying for many days and nights after experiencing those deceptions. And finally, she said to me, okay, Joshua, the last two, after 6 months, 4.5 months, towards the 6th month, okay? She said, let's go to the ashram of Rav Shankar in Sai Baba. And I said, okay, I'll accompany you, no worries. Which one would you like to go first? He said, I don't know, let's go to Bangalore. And we took a plane from Nepal because we were in the mountains of Pokhara. You know, we just walked into the villages of Pokhara barefoot, you know, without knowing the language. And perhaps I'll tell you the story of Pokhara later, but let's go to the Sai Baba one. We took a plane and landed in Bangalore. Now, if you like humor, and if you really believe God is humor, here's the joke today, okay? Anisha and I landed in Bangalore, and we're presenting our passports, you know, to, our things at the airport, you know, the check-in and this, that. Because we're coming from Nepal, so it's an international flight, though it's very close to India. And then the guy who's checking the passports, you know, it's got a statue, not a cardboard picture, yeah? Big cardboard picture. To his right, and another one to his left. One is a man dressed in white, and the other one a man dressed in orange. And then I said and then I look at the guy and said, why do you have these pictures around you, you know? And he said, well, you're very blessed today because Rav Shankar, pointing to the guy of the white clothes, in Satya Sai Baba have landed just 5 minutes ago at the same airport with you. So I said to him, and where's my picture? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, I'm accompanying my sister Anisha for a spiritual journey for her to unravel the truth of her life. And she thinks I'm a saintly man. I don't know, I won't give you that of me, but that's what she thinks. So she ought to find a picture of me if you're putting a picture of them. I couldn't care less for a picture. I mean, I'm just having a really nice time with the guy. So he laughs and he says, oh, well, I get a picture made for you if you want, you know. And see, he took the journey of the joke, so we joked. And so, end of story. I said to Anisha, okay, Anisha, both of them are here. Just at the airport, which one do we go first? To see Rav Shankar or Satya Sai? Because they are different directions from Bangalore, just 2 hours away, more or less, each one of them. Anisha said, let's go to see Rav Shankar. I said, okay. So we arrived to the ashram. It's almost sunset time now, okay? And a receptionist, which sort of, you know, surprised me but didn't surprise me, if you know what I mean. The lady says, well, what can I do for you? You're coming for the workshops. And I said, no. Oh, so why are you here? I said, well, we came to see our brother, Rav Shankar. Because Anisha has flown from very long, from Holland and from Nepal, just to see her brother that she appreciates through books and tapes. And he says, oh, well, the guru is very, very tired. He just came from a long journey. I said, I know, we landed all together at the airport, and we've come from a long journey too. It will suffice if they say hi. Yeah? That's the only thing my sister would like to do, to say hi to her brother. And if you tell us where here in the ashram we can put our tent to sleep tonight, and then tomorrow we'll keep on going. And he says, oh, no, you cannot put a tent in the ashram. You know, here you have to hire a room, and it's, you know, the workshops for the people tomorrow would be 100 people. And I said, well, you shouldn't be speaking for your guru. Go and tell your guru that his brother Joshua and her sister Anisha are here from a long journey to say hello. So he looked at me and he left. He came later and he says, the guru is too tired and he cannot see you today. And Anisha, with 2 tears in her eyes again, you know, I mean, I come to my brother's home, and if he's been traveling from Kathmandu, he will stand up and say, hello, I'm tired, see you tomorrow. Make yourself at home. That's a brother to me. I don't know about you. But I have some brothers who've lost it too. So sometimes brothers don't answer the phone. That's okay too. I love them too. No problem. But for Anisha, it was a big one. So she cried. I said, Anisha, as we get out of this ashram, we will find our family. That was the leitmotiv, if you know that phrase. Leitmotiv means, you know, the motive of the phrase that repeats itself on a story. Well, that was the leitmotiv of our journey. As soon as we get out of this place, you'll find your family. And as we get out, well, you can imagine in those semi-jungles of India, or roads that there is nothing there,
yeah.
At sunset time, there's not a soul for a woman who probably had her period that night, because she didn't tell me straight she had her period, but she told me I need to have a good clean of my body and my female needs. Okay? So I said to her, don't worry. And then I look at this child, a little child like this, a girl, just coming from the jungle and approaches us and says, hello. I think it's the only Hindu word she would know. And I said, hi. My sister needs sleep. Says, I know my uncle said to me to pick you. Come. And so we follow her through the jungle, you know, through the paddocks. And in the middle of this is a farm full of coconut trees and palm trees. And this big man says, hello, I've been waiting for you. God told me you're coming. I just sent my little child to pick you up. My wife has prepared meal and my daughters are gonna have a dance tonight for you to welcome you home. You can stay here for as long as you want, and when you're ready, you can go. We'll look after you. I never seen this man. So he did as he said he would. His family was very, very beautiful, welcoming, you know, very united. At least for the days we were with them, we could experience a unity in the house. And they prepared the meal, and the daughters danced. And he said to me, let the girls sleep inside, we sleep under the stars, because I'm sure you like sleeping under the stars. And it's true. I slept under the stars in New Zealand for many days of my life. I love watching the skies at night. So, okay. So in 2 days we were ready to move on. We said thank you for your hospitality. And Anisha said, well, I don't feel like I want to go to Sai Baba, but I have to. I need to close this circle once and for all. So we left to Sai Baba's ashram. The surprising factor for Anisha, not for me, but for Anisha, on the Sai Baba ashram, and I know a lot of devotees of Sai Baba, it's like he sends them to me in New Zealand, you know. At one stage I had a dream with him. We were flying on a rainbow with Satya Sai. And as I say to you, I don't bow to gurus or believe they're God or anything like that. But I know there are beings who are able to communicate spiritually. And you don't have to be God to do that. You know, there are many mentions in many scriptures of the world where even the magicians of Egypt, you know, they just manifest 2 snakes, and then Moses throws his sticks and the bigger snake eats the 2 little snakes. The difference between these 2 magicians is that one side says, hallelujah me, meaning praise me, and the other one, the ones who are with the true living God, says hallelujah, praise be to God, not to me. He is the one who manifests those miracles. So, okay, so I'm not impressed with that, because my life has been a continuous miracle since I'm a child. It's been ordinary until, as a man, I realized that ain't the ordinary experience of most human beings. In the 21st century where I was born, or the 20th, because I was born in the 20th. So we turn up to the ashram, and the first thing Anisha sees, it's a box where people ask you for your passports. Now, okay, Sai Baba lives in a big ashram where you have to present your passport. It's like a nation border, okay? Otherwise, you wouldn't be required a passport or an ID. You know, it's like a hotel, a corporation. You need an ID to step into the rules of that corporation. Okay? That's what bylaws are. They allow you to create corporations where every corporation has its own rules. Okay? And so I agreed on that. Anisha said, do you want to? Yeah, okay, go. And the next thing that happened is they asked us if we could sleep in different rooms, in different buildings. So I said to the guy, Anisha said, why do I have to sleep away from you? Not that we sleep together as men and women, but we sleep in the same rooms when we travel as brother and sister. We've been sleeping for more than 4 months now in hotels and everything. Why these people? I said, well, they have their spiritual and religious, codes. And the man says, oh, because we want to avoid sexual stuff, or, exactly what our brother explained. And I said, well, but by trying to avoid that and by voicing it, you're actually promoting it. Why would you even say that? Why would you make the assumption that people are coming here in that kind of playfulness or games or addictions? And he said, it's true, but that's the rules. And I said, Anisha, you're here. Do you want to go or you want to stay? Say, okay, I'll stay. So we're put in different rooms. Okay, now starts the fun. That room is huge. There are like 100 people sleeping in that room. And I've slept in places like that in New Zealand, in Marais, in Maori Pass, which are the places of gathering of the family. The Maori family, we share rooms. We share a story, a korero. It's called in Maori korero, the story of your ancestors. Everybody talks and tells stories of their family so that now we can unite families to become a greater family. But never a room like that where everybody is so fragmented. It smells bad. All the windows are closed. And I mean, my family and personally, I like to sleep under the stars with air. I can't sleep in a room like that. So I had two options. I either open the windows and sleep, or I just didn't sleep in that room. So I opened all the windows. And the anger that came out of that action, that was interesting for an ashram. Okay, and I thought, hey, cool down, people. You're supposed to be here to find peace and to be loved. But the first thing you need to learn is that your brain cannot work properly if you're not breathing oxygen. And what you're breathing here is your own gases and smells. I mean, if you don't learn that basic property of your bodies, you ain't getting the higher wisdom because your brain is not functioning well. So they started to scream, oh, get out of here. I said, okay, I'll get out of here, no worries. How would you like to sleep, people? They say, close everything as you find it. Sure. Closed everything, turned off the light, and left. And went into the gardens of the ashram. So now the temple that he talks about where 15,000 people, you can feed a lot of people there. It's divided in two with red carpets like this. Females and males. That place I was sleeping, a building, is very close to that temple. And okay, so I went put my head on the grass. And 2 hours later, a man comes and touches my arm and says, hey, you cannot sleep here. And I said to him, well, actually I was doing really well until you wake me up. So he says, no, sir. I mean, you're not supposed to sleep here in the ashram here. And I said, why? Because this is the house of Sai Baba. I said, look, this is the house of my God, too. God's house is the whole earth. And God showed me through my family basic principles of health. And I explained him. And I said, by the way, my hands dedicated these words to God. He wrote those words. These words, that this little book that I want to read a phrase for you, were written by inspirations from God, through my hands. So I read him a place where it says, I am the light that illuminates the universe. And it's passing. I am the universal family that you will meet along the way. And I show him, look. And he says, oh, those are the words of Satya Sai. Who are you? And then he thought I was Baba, manifested as another human being. Baba. And I said, well, you can call me Baba, but that would be very unusual. Nobody has called me like that ever in my life. But my name is Joshua, you can call me Joshua. And he sat with me all night reading. Then he took me by the hand and put me on the second floor where everybody was sleeping in a room equally big by myself and brought me food and drink and said, this will be your room while you're in the ashram. I'll look after you. So next day, I went to sit down like everybody else to wait for Satya Sai to come for Anisha. And he came, and I can tell you more or less how he walked, but I can't imitate him. But he basically was like this. Very slowly. He took almost 40 minutes to walk from there to there, looking at the people. And I mean, I'm at peace with that. He was a peaceful person, walking around along the carpet, harming nobody, looking at all the ashram full of people, perhaps holding a place of peace. Now, no different than anybody that I've met who holds that place of peace, and it's able to be peaceful and just be slowly and very gracious with his movements. So far so good. That day ends up, he didn't stay there for long. But I knew I had a message for him. In my heart, I had to say to him something. And the next day, I said to Anisha, well, if you want to go, we're out of here. But if you want to stay, and he said, no. Anisha said to me, I think we need to stay for one more day. And I said, yeah, this is correct inside of me. I knew. So I had the testimony that I carried, and the next day the ashram was full, and as he said, many people are sitting like in lotus position or very close legs, and very, very little space between people. Yeah, at least in the male side, because I wasn't in the female side, I couldn't see, but there were a lot of females too. And okay, so I meditated for a while, and I knew when I had to to go and give him a message. So I stood up, because I don't know really the ashrams of the rule. The rules of the ashram. I stood up and I started to walk sort of gracefully without interfering with anybody towards him. And when I got face to face to him, I told him, it's time to stop this. We don't need people to tell us anymore. It's written already in the scriptures of our forefathers. I will put my law in their hearts and minds, and no man or woman will teach them, because they will all know him. And so I put Paradise Landing on his hands, which is the testimony I carry. Those words, by the way, were of Jeremiah, the prophet. And when I was looking at him, somebody grabbed me by the hand so hard. And this stick about to hit me. And I looked at this guy, and I looked at him, and with the being which lives in me, because I am in that light. I looked at the guy and I said, hey, do you recognize me? This is not the house of God. Why would you hit the person who is in love, who is your brother? And I looked at Satya Sai and I said, is this what you call love? And he was paralyzed. And the guy said to me, it's okay, sir, it's okay, please sit, because Satya Sai looked at him and sort of signaled, it's okay. And he said, please sit down. And I said, no, I don't want to sit down. Why don't you sit down and put that stick down? You're the one who needs to calm down and sit down. I just came to have a word with my brother. There's nothing wrong with that. I just give him a testimony. It's time to stop. It's finished. No need for gurus anymore. What's wrong with me telling that to my brother? Isn't that an act of love? Isn't it written in the Quran that Muhammad is the last prophet? The seal? at the end of all prophets, that means we don't need prophets anymore. Not because we don't need them, but because we have the possibility to become one with God. If we have that choice, then there is no need for prophets anymore. They've done their job. Now we need to wake up and walk in the light. And the guy said to me, okay, I'll take you tomorrow to talk to him. Now follow me. So I said, sure, I'll follow you. He took me to the door of the temple, and I said, well, when are we going to talk to him? Tomorrow come. He says, oh, so you tricked me. Is that what you call truth? You're the police of an avatar of truth? You speak your word and you don't fulfill it. Look, maybe the truth of God is so vast that we humans cannot comprehend. But if we cannot be the word to each other and fulfill that, it's very hard to build trust. Now, you ain't a trustworthy person so far. Maybe you will become tomorrow, but so far you ain't. And he said, okay, sir, come tomorrow. At the same time that I'm coming out of the ashram, Anisha, it's crossing with, like, this is a big ashram. Bang! And she says to me, let's get out of here. I had enough. I already bought the tickets to go to Pondicherry from Puttaparthi, because we were in Puttaparthi. And while I'm out in the river, we're having papayas, a man with a beard, very young man, brown skin, like an Egyptian guy, okay, came to me and asked me, who are you? And I said to him, I don't want to answer that question to you. You will hate me if I answer that question to you. He says, please tell me who you are. Well, what if I told you that I am the light and the love of God made a human being? How would you feel about those words? If you're a Christian, you maybe not like it. If you're a Jew, you maybe not like it neither. If you're a Muslim, you maybe not like it. How would you take it? Why do you put a human being in that place? Let people be anonymous. Be quiet. We don't need to say who we are. Our actions will speak louder. Wasn't that what Jesus said? By my actions you shall know me. And so this guy said to me, I know what happened in the ashram. I'm a student of him and I can take you to see him. And I said to him, because he said to me, that's only Satya Sai. And I said, well, I already gave my message to Satya Sai. And he said, yeah, but these people wanted to stop you. They thought you were a demon because you're approaching him and he's God for them. And I said, what is the seed of Melchizedek? You are an Israeli guy. Why are you here chasing after spirituality when you have that in yourself? So he asked me, how do you know I am from Israel? And I said, it doesn't matter how do I know. I'm uttering those words. Hey, nice to meet you. And your stories were great. And so I said to him, what matters really is that we're all one family and that we all can embody the light and have that choice. It's, it's the most important thing. And so he invited us home and he told me, look, I play the saxophone and the clarinet. Well, I just happened to play the saxophone and the clarinet myself, so that was an interesting, Bye-bye. Linda, was nice to meet you all. Is that your child?
That's my boy.
Hey, I didn't meet him, guy.
Say hi, Joshua. That's Eden Sky.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for sure. Where my house.
Nice, huh? Bye-bye. I didn't know that he has a son.
Now we do.
So, okay, so we left, and that's our story with Sai Baba. That's the only thing I can tell you.
So you didn't meet with him the next day?
No, because I told him his chance was that day. I'm here for you. I told the guy, I'm here for you. I didn't come here to meet him. I'm here for you. I came here to tell you that you are the seed of Melchizedek. You don't need to be chasing spirituality when that's in you. And you know, he had a tear in his eye, this guy, and left. I mean, not that he was crying, but you know, you could tell he was an important moment for him. And then I left. We left on the cherry. And well, to me, the people that some people call Jesus, that's not his name. His name is Yeshua in Hebrew. Yeshua means salvation. And he wasn't a Christian guy, he was a Jewish rabbi. Yeah? And so a Jewish rabbi didn't create Christianity. But he wasn't just a Jewish rabbi for Jewish people. He was just a person of God. On those days, the religion of Judaism as we know it today was not the same as today. Okay? And the religions that we have today as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam were not there yet here in the world. They were information. Christianity for sure was not here, and Muhammad hasn't showed up in the scene yet. He was an Israelite. And there are records in all scriptures of Abraham's children about him. And in the Zohar, which is the book of splendor, the mother of the books, as it's written in the Quran, the book of Abraham, the mother of the books, it's already recorded. The many messiahs I send you, Israel. So for Israel and for the world of Abraham, there is not one savior. There are many saviors, one in each generation. And it's written, the throne of David will have one in each generation. But that's not politics. That's not religion. That's something different. It's the story of a family, of a people.